Hey everyone, you have reached the landing, OnePlanet's weekly meeting place for the entire Polygon NFT community. Every week at this time, you will learn more about the Polygon network, its native token Matic, and discuss the wonderful world of NFTs with some of the best and brightest minds from the NFT universe. And now, here's your host.
Planet's the place to be to showcase your NFTs. Best blockchain is Polygon. OnePlanet want to be on, yeah.
All right, what's going on, everyone?
Wow, man, I thought my connection was bad. I didn't hear anything, so I'm trying to get on my laptop and see if maybe it's my phone. But yeah, good. How are you, Edwin?
I'm doing good. I had the elevator music going on, just waiting for the drop to start and then turning it off so I can say hi to you guys. But I can hear you very well, so nothing wrong on your end there.
Very cool. Narb is in the house.
Matic, man, is it nice to not use a VPN anymore?
Man, you don't know how nice it is not to have to be in like on pins and needles. Am I going to make it through the space?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm sure it makes it a lot easier. I want to check in with the rest of the speakers here. The Matic Grace, how are you doing?
Doing good. How's it going, Edwin? Matic, man, Narb, Ghost, good to see you. Thank you for having me on.
Oops, sorry, I thought I ended the space for some reason. But yeah, we're doing good. Just trying to get a little organized here, handing out the link to the other Telegram chats and stuff. But yeah, happy to have you here as well. I personally haven't talked to you much, so I do want to learn more about your project. But I know that Matic Man has been following your project for a while, so we're definitely excited to continue to learn about you and also list your project and get to know your community a little better. Crack, how are you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me up here. It was super fun having you guys in the space yesterday, tuning in. So I, really was happy that I could jump in here and kind of give back too.
Awesome. Yeah, and I definitely want to learn more about your involvement as well in the Polygon ecosystem. Ghost, how are you doing, sir?
Hey Edwin, hey gentlemen, doing all right. Enjoying a nice warm day.
Yeah, somebody else said it before me this time. There we go. So warm day over here too in LA.
San Diego could use that. We complain when it's like below 70, but it actually is kind of cold and rainy over here right now.
Yeah, it's interesting because here it's sunny and it's windy, but the weather app says that it's going to be raining later tonight. So yeah, we're expecting a lot, all the different environments today, I guess. But let's get started, guys. I definitely want to dive a little bit deeper into the topic of today, which is recognizing the OG Polygon community, right? I think in the last week or two, I feel like there's been more conversations about this, and so with that, yeah, I think it's cool to have the Matic Grace here to join us as well, Narb and the Matic Man, who are OGs in the space. But Matic Man, you want to get us started with the music here? You're muted. I'm not sure if you are playing it, or maybe you can't hear us.
And discuss the wonderful world of NFTs with some of the best and brightest minds from the NFT universe. And now, here's your host.
Planet's the place to be to showcase your NFTs. Best blockchain is Polygon. OnePlanet want to be on.
Sorry, Edwin, I had it on mute. I apologize.
No worries. That was a good save. Thank you, Matic Man. Appreciate that. And also, awesome work with the Matic Man Productions. I know you released a new song today, so congrats on that. It's always cool to see you put all of this together with the music and the video and the lyrics. So, yeah, good work with that, man.
Man, Gore from Little Bits World, what an amazing job he did on the video. It was great. Really added a lot.
And that's super interesting, right? Because you're combining different artists and you're like the coach here and you're putting everybody in the right position, giving them the opportunity to shine with their skills, and then ultimately just building something together, right? So it's cool to see that you're just, bringing people together in that way.
Yeah, so it's a kind of a long process. Like I have a guy that I work with on the beats, and so finding the beat that I want for the song, and then working with. We had two different vocalists on that particular. I don't know if everyone saw like the end of the video, because once the TV turns off, there's like a purple wave to the tune of Purple Rain that's at the end. So I think some people missed that part. But yeah, we had two different vocalists, and then of course Gore from Little Bits World with the video. So yes, like kind of like a coach, you're right, Edwin.
Yeah, that's super cool, man. And you get to express your creativity on this, right? And put all these references in there that maybe, not most people will understand, but some people will get it and it'll catch their attention as well. And shout out to the Primate 77 for their algo fuel. They never miss. So thank you for that. To get us started, Narb, do you want to share some of the milestones, any highlights, any stats within Polygon in the last week that you were aware of?
Yeah, so I've got some metrics and some news over the past week, starting with Polygon's daily active addresses, currently averaging around 330,000 per day. Daily transactions are around 2.9 million. The total POS transactions are nearing 2.5 billion, which is a pretty significant number, currently at 2.48 billion. And over the past week, the total unique Polygon addresses did reach 220 million. And now on to some news. It was kind of actually a bit of a quieter week over the past week, but some updates here. Total Reddit NFT holders has passed 7 million. TimeSwap, one of Polygon's exclusive DeFi protocols, launched TimeSwap v2 on the mainnet. I definitely want to give a shout out to Polycon, which starts tomorrow, February 23rd through the 25th. For those who don't know, Polycon is a metaverse event hosted by PolyDoge, and it will have some of Polygon's best employees, community members, and so on speaking there. A lot of fun activities are planned for this, and if you're interested in sort of learning more about what Polycon is, PolyDoge did also post a mega thread on this yesterday. I believe it is their pinned tweet, so definitely check that out. Today, Sandeep Nailwal, co-founder of Polygon, which you guys probably already know, spoke in the weekly community call. And if you missed it, he did say something about something that a lot of people ask about is the Matic token. And he did mention that there will be a proposal soon for the community to vote on changes or a rebrand coming to the Matic token. So stay tuned for that. And then lastly here, I just sort of wanted to mention the elephant in the room. Yes, Polygon has laid off 20% of their staff, unfortunately. I will say, there's a lot of high quality employees that were let go due to this. Obviously, this is never a good thing, but, a business has to do what a business has to do. And Polygon, felt like this was the best move for them to, I guess, thrive over the long term and make sure they have a steady runway. And yeah, but that's all that I have for updates over the past week.
Awesome, Narb. Thank you for that as always. One thing that I really like from all of that you mentioned is the uh, fact that Sandeep is participating in these community calls, right? Because they're a lot more intimate when you do it in a Discord setting, as opposed to being, it's a community feel as opposed to being in a Twitter space, which is a more of audience feel where anybody can join. And so if you see him interacting with people there, I feel like, I don't know, it just shows that he is trying. And I think that's the best thing that we can hope for, right? From a co-founder, from a lead, that they are in the dirt. I don't know if you guys are fans of Gary Vee, but he talks a lot about being in the dirt and in the clouds, right? And just like being short-term sighted, being active, daily with your community, and then also thinking long-term, right? And having that vision. And you mentioned that about, the changes to the Matic token, and obviously people are always looking for value accrual and like, reducing emissions and all of these different things to to feel like they're making a better judgment or they have an edge on which token to invest in, right? But yeah, go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry, Narb.
Yeah, I was just going to add on to that and say, yeah, you're totally right. I guess anybody who's been here has probably noticed a pretty decent shift in the Polygon team, definitely getting more involved with the community. And I just wanted to mention on top of that, for those who don't know, with that community call, every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern, there's a Polygon community call in the Polygon Discord. So I just wanted to mention that. Usually they cover a different topic every week. Like last week, it was about ZK EVM. This week, it was more about, general updates from Sandeep. So yeah, 9 a.m. Eastern every Wednesday. Definitely check that out.
Yeah, thank you for those details there on that call. Go ahead, Crack.
Yeah, I really liked what you were saying too about kind of the Polygon leadership being involved with just the community. I know that when I was out in Singapore for Polygon at the Pit with Jump Crypto, Sandeep was giving a talk, and he's a busy guy, obviously, but was super accommodating to all the people who were at the event, making time out of his day just to meet up with anyone who needed advice on their project, feedback on kind of the future of Polygon, and really just like went above and beyond to make you feel connected to the team. I don't know of any other like founding blockchain member that I guess is so involved with the community at that level. So right there with you guys on that.
Yeah, exactly. But it just humanizes Sandeep and also the rest of his team, right, around him. And as much as they are trying to get involved with like the PFP community and NFT communities in general, I think that's still just a fraction of the whole Polygon ecosystem, right? There's the whole DeFi side and there's the CKEVM side now. So yeah, there's so much going on, but being able to take some time to engage with people at an individual level, and even just one thing that I found interesting is he likes a lot of things, a lot of what the content creators are making around the Polygon ecosystem on his Twitter account, right? And I think I read on his bio that he says something like, do your own research or like not financial advice, right? Because he wants to support everything that's being created. But at the same time, I think he's just, of course, being, just being aware that there may be some information that may not be completely correct, right? There could be some phishing scams or different things going on that are like looking for him to like it, and if he, does that and people follow what he's following or liking, that can turn into something bad. But still, the point is that he is being more engaged with the community and humanizing himself and the rest of his team. Go ahead, Narb.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that. Yeah, if you're creating some type of high quality content around Polygon and Sandeep sees it, odds are he's probably going to retweet it, right? And I think that's what obviously he likes to support the community himself, but I think that also when the community sees that, it makes them feel good, and it also makes them want to create more content. So if you're somebody who's just getting involved in Polygon and say you write a thread about something involved within the Polygon ecosystem, Sandeep retweets it, that makes you want to write another thread and then another thread, right? So it's sort of like this domino effect that sort of works out both ways. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that, if you're creating a content around Polygon and maybe tag Sandeep in it, eventually he'll probably see it and you might get a retweet.
Yeah, exactly. And we know that this space depends a lot on attention, right? And so his account is so big that if he's able to engage with your content in some way, that is going to help you grow your audience as well and get more attention. And so, yeah, quality content is what we're looking for in this space. Go ahead, Matic man.
Yeah, without harping too much on it, I was just going to mention. I know it's already been mentioned in this space. I was in a space earlier today that's actually more Solana guys, but they do once a week. They call it the Polygon Shot, and Big Neil from Datorian. Some of you know him. He's like their Polygon connection, and so sometimes he'll invite me to come and actually Skirpies was there today as well, and we just helped talk about Polygon, but they were asking, there were like 3 or 4 people in this place. Of course, they've heard the news about, Polygon downsizing, some letting go of some, 20% of their staff. And that they were concerned about that. Like, they were like, are you guys as Polygon people? Are they red flags? What's going on? And so we were, just trying to explain. And I was glad Sandeep was in that community call. So we were able to, parrot what he said, as it were, straight from the horse's mouth, not just conjecture. But so I appreciate the transparency of our team. And I don't want to say too much. I know there was some very, very high that, were in that process that, aren't working for Polygon now. And so anyway, I'll just stop talking now.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Because going back to the attention point, as Polygon continues to grow, and there's a lot of tribalism and competition in general, right? But as Polygon continues to grow, there's going to be more people that are looking for ways to look at the small details of what's not working, right? And point those out and make a bigger deal about those things than they actually are. Like in the last hour, Polygon scan wasn't working properly, and people were already saying that the Polygon chain went down, so they can't make jokes about Solana anymore because Polygon went down too. But anyways, that wasn't true. So anyways, yeah, a lot of more topics to discuss for sure as we continue to expand the ecosystem of Polygon. I want to get to the segment here with my friend Ghost, and then we'll go into the Matic Grace and get some more information about your project. Ghost, my friend, can you share some of the information that you found out for the last week about OnePlanet?
Yes, sir. This week has been a busy week for OnePlanet, so I'm just going to start off with the top 5 collections by volume, and then we'll go into a few other things that have popped off in the recent days. So top 5 collections by volume, you have Hellcats that had a nice increase of floor price by 7%, followed by Nerdy Moody. We have Hellhounds with the mention of some upgrades potentially for the Hellhounds as well. 4th place, we have Polygon Ape Yacht Club with a nice 98% increase in floor price. I haven't seen that in a while. So it's a nice thing. They also had mentioned a serum airdrop. So pretty much one ape will get one serum. So these things are flying off the shelves. Next, we have Derby Stars, which have their early access in just in a few days on the 27th. Some marketplace updates. We have Cypher Wars going on still. We have Mutants as well. On the 26th, if I'm not mistaken, we have Friday Night Punks also going off with their packs. And then I got a nice surprise once I opened my OnePlanet account on Monday morning, and I was able to see my Phantom Galaxy passes and tokens that I have on there. And OnePlanet has integrated all of the Animoca suite on the Polygon side. Not only that, every game or every type of collection can also trade in their native asset on the marketplace.
All right, awesome, Ghost. Thank you so much for sharing that information. One thing that I've noticed with the Polygon Ape Yacht Club is that they have 1,500 unique owners, which they've been able to increase in the last 2 weeks by almost doubling it. So I think that's been interesting just to see their rise continue in many different ways, right? They have a cool roadmap, as you mentioned, with the serum coming up that is going to benefit the holders. And I think that's one of the things that's bringing new people into their community. We actually had one of our mods help a Twitter member or user, he was asking us through Twitter, like, how is he able to get Matic and where was the collection link? And he was struggling, but through Twitter, our mod was able to help him, walk him through, and he was able to get his own Polygon Ape NFT. So it's cool to see just the um, the audience that Polygon Ape Yacht Club is building, and they're continuing to just generate a lot of attention. Their community is based on the gated community and in Discord. So just to be able to go in there and engage with them, you need to own an ape. And once you go in there, like there's always activity. They always have conversations going on. So I think it's showing that the Polygon community is growing in general, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work with them, and seeing what else they can produce here to grow the NFT ecosystem in general. Because I think a lot of them right now, the NFT minted for 10 Matic, and right now the floor price is like at 80 or something. So a lot of them are in profit, and I think that's going to expand into other NFT projects as well.
Yeah, because going on post the Utes announcement, I mean, past 2 weeks we've seen kind of a level off, and then now with this Polygon 8 Yacht Club hype, we're getting new wires coming in and looking at it.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, last thing to finish this segment is the addition of the Animoca brands. All the projects that they are invested in Polygon are listed on OnePlanet. So we're excited to be working with them. We are going to be continue to support them in any way that we can. A lot of them have games, and they're building, like Meta World. So there's a lot of utility that they're bringing into their NFT projects, and a lot of them have their own token as well. And so that integration of adding utility to their own token is going to be pretty cool. For example, right now, 30 minutes ago, we had a rabbit's avatar sell for 105 sand on the OnePlanet marketplace. And so to me, that's exciting, right? Just to be able to experiment with different ecosystems, with the sandbox ecosystem, and look at the different collections that they have and be able to add utility to the sand token. And so, yeah, we hope that this can continue to expand to other projects as well. But with that, the next segment that we'll do here is check in with the Matic Grays, learn a little bit more about them, and then I've got a specific question that I'll ask you guys after that. But Matic Grays, if you can share a little bit about who you are, maybe a bit about your team, and then about your project.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Edwin. My name's Joel. And the Matic Rays are a fully doxed family project started by myself, my wife Chelsea, and our daughter Rain. And we're just a family of artists. We launched back in November 2021 after months of research. We were just blown away by NFTs and what they could do for artists and art collectors of all levels all over the world, and wanted to get involved. So it's actually my wife's idea. I was working on designer art toys at the time, but always talking about NFTs. And, she said, we just have to make an alien NFT collection because of my passion for extraterrestrial phenomenon. We combined all of our passions, her love of pop culture, our daughter's love of gaming and tech, and we put it together and learned as we went. Before that, we hadn't really written a line of code before. We wanted to choose a blockchain that we could grow with, and we were blown away by the Polygon community. Their green approach, their philanthropy, being carbon negative, everything just made sense. So we launched and we began building. We've built an incredible community, and now we're about to launch our first utilities in Worlds Beyond, an incredible metaverse. We've got our avatars built. If you go on our site, thematicrays.com, you can get a sneak peek of them. We're going to have a cross community tournament in there in the next, I believe, few weeks. Where everyone can come in, play as a gray. We have got there'll be $7,500 in cash prizes. So it's just been an incredible journey all the way around. We've also, when we built this, we decided that we wanted to have a positive force into every aspect of our project. So we've integrated charitable donations into each of our collections, both the Matic Grays and the Baby Grays. And since we started that with the giving block to bring all of them on chain, we've been able to donate over $3,500 to St. Jude and the Ronald McDonald House. And yeah, we just continue to build, and we're excited for the next steps.
That's awesome to hear that it's a family project as well, man, and you learn, some tech along the way to build your project, which is a skill that's super valuable as well for this tech that's continuing to grow, right? And more creators are coming into the ecosystem that need that kind of support.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and it's it's incredible the capabilities with Web3 because all the information is out there, and that's something that we've been talking a lot about recently is just the ability to learn these things is so powerful, and it's never really been available before. Web3's kind of brought it to the forefront, so it's exciting.
And I'm a huge fan of sci-fi and aliens, and so I really like the vibe that you guys got here. I was actually watching Don't Look Up yesterday, and I know it's not aliens, but I mean, it was coming from space, to hit Earth, and it was just interesting to watch the movie and all the ridiculousness that was going on there. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Absolutely, that's a good movie. No, we that's it had to be aliens, just with our love of sci-fi and aliens in general. We wanted to stay true to ourselves and true to our passions and the lore we're developing now with our upcoming comic and everything. It's going to be really fun to see everybody kind of see what we've been building for months and months.
Do you feel like because of your name and kind of your theme, your lore, you've attracted some community members that are also fans of that, or is it more of a diverse community that you built?
I think we've definitely attracted a lot of people that are extraterrestrial enthusiasts, but it is a diverse. We have a diverse community. We've met so many incredible people from all over the world. Again, it's Web3's just an incredible experience and a melting pot of so many different people and ideas, and so yeah, it's definitely been a part of it, but I think it's bigger than that as well.
Yeah, definitely. And so one question that I have here in general, if that like the main topic that I wanted to talk about was like the OGs in Polygon, right? But I think when I think of an OG, what I feel is like what attracted me to Web3 in the first place, right? What about blockchain technology was I so curious about that I decided to leave my normal job and work full time in Web3. And so, from that perspective, I just wanted to put this question out there for you guys. And that is just initially what made you dive deep into Web3? What part of the technology really made you say, okay, I have to stay in this ecosystem, learn about it, and educate others about it? Go ahead, Narb.
Yeah, for me it was definitely DeFi that had, or just really the peer-to-peer payments that had like piqued my interest in the beginning. I used to work for an insurance company, and what we had noticed at this insurance company is most people, the reason that like they missed payments. The reason that like when we try to take a payment from them, the reason that they would miss isn't necessarily because they didn't have the money, but it was because the time in which the money was actually put into their account. So most people with regular jobs are, paid every Friday or every other Friday or whatever it is. And a lot of the times what we would see is that like we would have their account set up to deduct their payment on like a Thursday before that or the Wednesday before that. And another problem that always came up was like, the multiple business days it can take to get paid as well. And I sort of found that I feel like, it's 2023 and there was still this problem where it can take multiple business days for something to hit your bank account. And obviously with crypto, it was instant. So in a weird way, that's what like piqued my interest in the very beginning. Obviously, I've went down the rabbit hole like since then. But yeah, to in the very beginning, that was like, wow, you can make instant payments to anywhere in the world, no matter what day it is. And that's how I got into crypto.
That's such a good perspective, and one thing that, to get even more granular in that, one thing that I've seen in Terra was something called fountain finance, and the idea being that you essentially get paid every block rather than waiting for a specific day of the month or of the week. Every block, there's a contract. Your employer just puts the money in there, your salary in there, and every block you get paid until the contract or like your employment changes or anything like that. So yeah, there's the technology allows for different experimentation payments for sure. Go ahead, Crack.
Yeah, kind of expanding on that too. I think the big light bulb moment for me for blockchain was first kind of hearing about the idea of digital asset ownership and kind of how a blockchain can underpin tracking where digital assets go and how many digital assets are like out there in circulation. And that kind of like got like my brain just like firing up basically about all the potential use cases that underpins now. I mean, we can talk about the gaming use cases like I did yesterday, where now you're able to actually in your game set up digital economies that can't be tampered with. But even outside of that, kind of like what Narb was saying, there are like so many different utilities, I think, that have not been realized yet, even though the idea is out there. And I think as I started to learn more and more about like what projects already existed, like QiDAO, MakerDAO, Uniswap, it really just got me realizing that, wow, there's a lot of kind of this core financial infrastructure being built out, and we're so far away of like the true potential of crypto and blockchain being actualized. So like that's always been what's kept me going through this space, is that as someone builds something new and once something new launches, it unlocks like the door to a whole new list of ideas that we'd never even thought about.
Yeah, man, it's so crazy, right? That we're still so early. I don't know when we'll stop saying that, because there's still so many ideas that exist out there, but the technology hasn't been created yet to bring it to life. And so I'm with you on all that. Go ahead, Matic, man.
Yeah, it's not what I wanted to say, but you mentioned about being early, and then we keep saying that. Someone in a space today made this quote, said this. I thought it was good. They said in 2021 to launch a project, maybe you were too early, but in 2023 you're still early. So I don't know if that's true, but I kind of like that we're still early. I think maybe last year we were too early in some aspects, but yeah, we're still a little early. But I want to say, as far as coming into Web3, why I'm in Web3 full time, and think about the power of influence. And I want to give a few flowers out today, if I could. When I decided I wanted to try to go into Web3 full time, I did have a plan. I didn't just, haphazardly enter. I did actually had a plan, and I had written down some things, a plan. But if it wasn't for Narb, I don't know if I would have stuck in the Polygon ecosystem. Although I was heavily invested in Matic at that time, when I reached out to Narb after a couple of months in the ecosystem, if he would have been a jerk, if he hadn't have been welcoming and, just been just a good person, because he is a good person, I don't know if I would have, because at the time, Narb, he'll probably remember this. I had gotten my first gig, if you will, for a Polygon company, but I was also working for a project that was in the near ecosystem. In fact, I invited Narb to one of our spaces, and I may have been in the near ecosystem now if it hadn't been for Narb and him being so so friendly, so willing to help. Yeah, he could have seen me as like a rival, like who here's somebody coming into the space and they're going to be doing some of the same things that he was doing, and but he wasn't that way. So the power of influence, and as I think about the OG Polygon community, I think about family feel, I think about support, I think about collaboration, I think about people like the Matic Grays. They epitomize the culture that I think has been prevalent in the OG Polygon community. I'm as excited as anyone about new people coming in. Maybe Matt, maybe he's been in the ecosystem a long time, but I didn't meet him until like 6 or 7 weeks ago. Man, he's a great guy. I'm glad we got to connect. He's a great asset to the Polygon ecosystem. But as we grow, I hope we don't lose that OG feel. That really is what attracted me from people like Narb that just held out a helping hand and willing to welcome a newcomer into the space. I hope we never lose that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you as well. I think that there's a wide spectrum of people who are in Web3, right? It's the people that are just coming in and are just curious and are just looking around. And those are the ones that we need to create roadmaps for them and make it easier for them, because this space is not easy. It's challenging in so many different levels. And then there's a spectrum of OGs that have been here forever, right? And have been building their own brands and their own projects. And I think sometimes that's where the FUD can start, right? Where they're the ones that know so much that they just know too much sometimes, that they don't want to help newcomers come into the space. Crack, I think you're Matt, but also if you can give us an intro to yourself, how did you get started in Polygon?
Yeah, thanks. You guys can call me Matt or Matt Crack. Crack's my last name, so I think that's the first clarification I always give. Everyone thinks it's a pseudonym, and it works out that way because no one's ever looking for my actual name when they tweet me out or search this up. But yeah, I got into the Polygon ecosystem actually about a year ago. ETH Denver was my first crypto conference, so it'll be a full year's anniversary coming back there in less than a week. But I got super engaged with Polygon first from just the community vibes that I felt like you were saying a year ago at ETH Denver. Everyone was so friendly. There was an incredible amount of support from the developer community there. I came into crypto back in 2020, and so I'm not as much of a veteran, I think, as some of the other people on this panel. But I got very heavily involved in the developer scene, and Polygon was just always there, lending a helping hand, giving out like the top-notch resources. Like you're saying, Narb and some of the other, Polygon OGs were so great with getting me up to speed and giving me kind of the confidence to really get involved more on like the Twitter space side. So huge kudos to you guys. Matic Man too definitely got me up there probably when I think no one knew who I even was. So very grateful for that. And touching just really quick, I think, on what you were saying, Matic Man, about, whether or not we're still early. I think one thing that distracts people a lot of the time is how much money is already in the space, right? Like we see the total market cap numbers and we think, oh, geez, like Polygon's multi-billion dollars. There's no way it gets bigger from here, right? But if you really think about it, look at the number of developers that are active, not even just on Polygon, across all chains. I put out, actually, I don't know if I put a tweet out about it. I'll put a tweet out right after about this. But Electric Capital is a fund that like studies the industry. They put out a developer report for the entire ecosystem, Polygon and all other chains included. And what they found was, and they're underreporting, so there's a lot more devs out there, but at least active devs that are contributing to GitHub at least multiple times a month, there's probably only around, I would say, 1,000 active devs in the Polygon ecosystem right now. And that's one of the largest numbers in that report. There's tons and tons of other developers. But I think the point is that if you're talking about building and, where we're heading and what new ideas are going to get spun up in the coming years. Once we get more and more mainstream developers actively involved, actively building, you're going to see an explosion of new projects that come on the scene, especially as these new developer tools and resources become easier to use. Narb, do you want to expand on that? I feel like you definitely know about that too.
Yeah, I wanted to add on to what you were saying there in sort of on the user level too is, yeah, we are still so early because there was also some stats put out the other day that I saw that there's really only a few million, like I think it was like 2 or 3 million daily active addresses. Now, I get like a million can maybe sound like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, right? What is it? There are like 8 billion people in the world. That is a very small fraction. Also, you have to take into account that, that's active wallets. So people obviously have multiple wallets as well. So it's probably way less than that. So yeah, if you look at it from like a global scale, we are still like super early, and we really haven't reached mainstream adoption. I know that's like what everyone talks about all the time, and obviously Polygon has a huge focus on that with these Web2 brand partnerships that they've been bringing in. But yeah, in terms of like you were saying with developers and users, yeah, we are still so early, and this has obviously the UI UX needs to improve, the scalability needs to improve. We have a long ways to go.
And Polygon's right there too doing it. I mean, that's the big thing that I think has drawn me further into the ecosystem, is that seeing not only Sandeep but the rest of the team's vision for where scalability goes from here. I mean, you have Polygon Supernets for projects that are having already what you would consider huge adoption. You have ZK EVM coming in now to help support pretty much every project that could be launched on chain. And then you have a bunch of other smaller like privacy solutions and like Polygon ID for identity. They're really kind of just tapping into, at least for me, like all the key infrastructure that I would need to build a good, convenient dApp. And that's what I'm like very excited for.
Ghost, wanted to check in on you, man. What attracted you on the tech side into blockchain and Web3?
For me, I mean, in real life, I'm in the logistics field. So blockchain is just first starting out in logistics. So you have tracking shipments across the world, you have duty fees, you have weights, you have them, you have all that. So that's what initially brought my attention over to blockchain. And then I saw the capabilities on the financial side and then the freedom side of that. And then lo and behold, and now into NFTs. So it was almost like a gateway into this world of blockchain and the many adaptations that you can utilize the technology for.
Go ahead, Matic, man.
Well, there's a really important question, really earth-shattering, serious question that is like the elephant in the room as well, Edwin. And I think it's something that we really need to delve into tonight is if Polygon rebrands the Matic token and changes the name, what's that going to do to the Matic Grays? What's that going to do to the mayor of Matic? What's that going to do to the Matic militia? And what's that going to do to the Matic man? What are we going to do?
R.I.P. Rest in peace.
Yeah, man. Well, Ghost and I come from a world where we've seen this kind of system play out. So what we'll do is we'll call you guys classics. All right.
Yeah, you guys will all be classics, and then we'll just keep it going. And if you guys need like emotional support, like Edwin and I are well versed in dealing with catastrophes.
I'm already needing that emotion. So I want to go ahead and book. Just send me your calendar. I'm going to go ahead and book some times with you, man.
It sounds good, my man.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I mean, just that alone, right? That conversation there, or that topic about the transparency and the permanent technology of the blockchain, right? That you print something, and that's where like the inscriptions of Bitcoin NFTs was such a huge buzzword word in the last couple of weeks because everybody wanted to be under like 10,000, under the number 10,000. Now things have escalated, right? And you saw DeGods kind of take a whole block and pixelate their NFTs to get them in there. But that was something that attracted me as far as technology goes, that permanent feel, and then also the ownership component, right? Just something that I was thinking about earlier is that in real life, right? And we've heard things like you will own nothing and be happy, and that just trips me out when I hear things like that, and because it is becoming more and more true, where we're renting things and the low ownership is becoming something that's less important for people. There's a lot more nomads, and I'm guilty of this. I like living the digital lifestyle and not having so many bags to carry with me. But here in the blockchain world, we actually value ownership, right? We want to be the custodial of our NFT and we want to have it in our wallet. And so that was one thing that attracted me to blockchain and to NFTs as well, right? Just to be able to say this is mine, right? It's printed on the blockchain and nobody can take it away from me unless I somehow click on a wrong link, sign a transaction, or lose my password or my words, right? So, but it's all up to me at that point. But just some things there that I was thinking about when thinking of that question. Um, I want to check in with the Matic Grace as you're building an NFT project. There's a lot of conversations there about it's not just art. There's a lot more to it. It seems like you're also thinking about utility. So is there anything that you can add there about how you think about utility around the NFT tech?
Absolutely. That's a great question. I think utility is vitally important, and that's why we're always looking and developing new ways to bring and add utility to our projects. But I also feel at the same time that it's important to not let the art get lost along the way as well, right? That's what drew us in the beginning. Talking about what brought you into blockchain, and of course, initially with most people, it's the DeFi aspects, it's the ownership, it's kind of like the great equalizer as we view it. Um, but the art and the community was hands down what made us fall in love with NFTs and knew that we had to get involved. Um, but the possibilities are endless within utility, and that's one of the great things about the blockchain tech. We're looking at now doing more things than we ever thought that we would, with being able to equip digital assets within multiple worlds, just by having our NFT in your wallet, right? To be able to contribute to charitable donations and to be able to vote on them in the metaverse, by holding one of our NFTs. Um, I think utility is vitally important, but also art is an incredibly valuable utility as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, recently with the conversations around creator royalties, that to me, I think about art as well, right? Because a lot of the people that are coming into this ecosystem with NFT tech are just artists that love what they do, and they see creator royalties as a way for them to continue to do what they love to do and still have some kind of reward in the future after the initial sale of their art, right? And so it has been kind of crazy to see how other marketplaces have been engaging with their creator communities and not honoring what the creators would want. So yeah, but I do agree with you. I think art is something that we need to cherish, right? And uh, another thing that I've seen recently is with the whole open edition minting that's going on ETH. I've seen where they release 100,000, 200,000 NFTs, and they have like a check, and then after that, the artist actually changes the check into a green circle, and so that's something interesting too, right? That you can actually play around with this tech because you already own this NFT and you thought it was a check, But now there's a different mechanism where you change the art, and everybody now is holding something that's different, something that they didn't pay for, but they're adding some kind of burning mechanism, and eventually you'll get like a PFP or something. But it's just interesting the games that people and artists are playing with these new access to this technology, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I think the future of dynamic NFTs and the possibilities that they hold is absolutely incredible and going to change the space and kind of push it forward again. That's something that we're looking very heavily into, especially within the our games and experiences. Uh, I love seeing it, and again, the it's everything that's happening now. I still feel is just very so much at the beginning, and each idea is going to bring another 100 ideas next to it. So yeah, it's exciting for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be exponential, once we get more and more people on board it and actually looking at the benefits of Web3 and blockchain technology and not looking too much into the bad apples that we have in the space. We have about 8 minutes left here. So as we start to close down the space, I got one last question for you guys here. So we talked about what brought you into blockchain and Web3 and the tech. Now, with the last question here, I'm curious about what terminology, what vocabulary, what word keeps you in the space. There's the GMs, there's we're all gonna make it. But anyways, I just want to leave the space with that. I'm curious about what you guys, what's your favorite word in the ecosystem? Go ahead, Narb.
I just wanted to go first because I feel like a lot of people were going to use this word, community.
Yeah, I feel that. Go ahead, Crack.
Blockchain. No, I'm kidding. I think my favorite word probably. It's a tough question. I think honestly, outside of community, because that's a great one too, it would be family, right? Everyone here is beyond just community members. Like we're all like part of the same mission, you know?
Yeah, completely agree. Anybody else here?
I've got to go with the same family and community, and it makes me proud to be a part of the Polygon community. When getting to know people like the Matic man and Jordan and Johnny and now you, Edwin, and Narb and Crack and Ghost. It's what really drives our passion and keeps a fire in our belly to do more and be better and grow. So thank you, and thank you again for having me on.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for those words. Go ahead, Matic man.
Oh, I guess I have to use a different word. I would have said community or family. If I could just use the word together, we think about together, we build, but we're in this together. And Edwin has been amazing. Of course, I lived overseas for a number of years and disconnected from my physical family. And just being able to connect with the Web3 family in Polygon has just been priceless. So, yeah, and people that you've never met IRL, you feel like they're your brother, you feel like they're family. So it's really a neat dynamic in Web3.
Yeah, Matic man and I were having a conversation the other night about what would happen if, one of us just got sick and we weren't able to communicate with our team members. What are they going to be thinking? What is our community going to be thinking if we're not
I've thought
sending
about this
messages? It's
before.
crazy, right? Because in real life, like my mom, my sisters, they have no idea how to connect with any of y'all. So they wouldn't be able to send a message or anything. Go ahead, Ghost.
I think one word that keeps like bouncing around in my mind is just freedom. No longer do we have boundaries in the sense of financially, socially. It's definitely opened my mind to pretty much closing in all these borders that we have, especially knowing people from all around the world. You have complete and utter freedom in this industry in every sense that you can think of.
Yeah, that's so good. That I love that, and that's why people call it the Wild West, right? That's what we're all experiencing right now. Just people coming in, and even through Polygon, right? You can. It's a general blockchain. If you want to watch some videos on YouTube, you can learn how to create a project, and you have something built, and now you just need to market it to your community and find some market fit, and people will start to engage with you. Obviously, it takes a lot of work and a lot of energy, but the opportunity is there to just be creative and to experiment and try something new. So I'm definitely excited about all of these new avenues that this tech has brought for us. I would say my favorite word has been collaborations. I feel like every time you meet somebody new, like in the back of your mind, it's always like, oh, what kind of collabs can I do with this project? And so similar to what you guys are saying, right? Together, family, community, but it's more of this also like organized professional relationship where you're thinking about, okay, if we're both NFT projects, how can we do a giveaway that's going to benefit both of our communities? If we're both content creators, how can we, reference each other or do a code tweet or something like that? So, or Twitter Spaces, how can we co-host Twitter Spaces? So collaboration has been something that I think it's been interesting to explore, right? Because what you are creating, it can be unique, and then what the other projects are creating is unique as well. And so finding out how you can connect each other is a interesting experience. Go ahead, Narb.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Matic, man, if the token was to change to Polygon, would you be up for maybe changing your name to the Polygon person?
Hey, that could work. It doesn't have that same ring to it, but yeah, I'm all about Polygon, man. So whatever I have to do. But if I stay with Matic, man, I go through some trauma. I know I could see Ghost or Edwin for some help.
Yeah, I was just joking. You should definitely stick with the Matic, man. And by the way, I mean, we're gonna have a vote on this, so if you can get the community to rally around and vote no, then there you go. Then you don't have to think about it.
Yeah, it may be best for the ecosystem to change the name. I was thinking, like, what other blockchains, what other ecosystems have different names for their token? I thought about, Cardano and ADA. What other ones are there? There's not many. The native token is the blockchain's name. So it may be better for the ecosystem.
Yeah, and well, you hitting another nail here, because we come from Terra and the coin is Luna. So like we said, we know what you're going through with these questions. But yeah, it's been an awesome talk, guys. I really enjoyed the last hour with you guys here, and shout out to all the listeners as well. Thank you for spending your time with us. Appreciate the algo fuel on the comments and the likes and the retweets. I don't like spending too much time doing that, because I want to hear your voices here, the speakers, and learn about you and add some value to the conversation. But with that being said, the Matic Grace will be listed on OnePlanet this week, so we're super excited about that. If anybody has any questions about OnePlanet, feel free to DM us, join our Discord. We'll help you out. We have Blob down here that's listening. He's a new member of OnePlanet. He's going to be our marketing intern. So shout out to him for applying and for his interest. Looking forward to working with you, Blob. Yeah, thanks everyone up here. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks for joining us for The Landing, OnePlanet's weekly meeting space. Please join us again next week at the same time.